Hi, I'm Lance Hendricks, and you're watching Bryan Lomax Movie Talk. Don't turn it off.
Hello there, welcome to Bryan Lomax Movie Talk and my review for Gemini Man. A lot of bad press. I wasn't going to bother reviewing this, to be honest, but because it's had a lot of bad press, a lot of people have really been down on it. It doesn't have a particularly high grade on any of the movie-related sites you can see. I liked it. So I felt compelled to do a review about it, because when everything's negative about something and I disagree with it, I feel like, yeah, you should put a bit of positivity out into the world. No, I like this film. So this is the latest film by Ang Lee, Oscar-winning director of Life of Pi. He also made he's made several of my all-time favourite films actually, but particularly Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Ride with the Devil, which is one of the best westerns ever made and so few people seem to have actually seen. Yeah, I like the guy. He's one of my favourite directors. He's one of those directors who works in any genre and still manages to excel. In my opinion, clearly not everyone feels the same way. But Gemini Man, I went into this expecting a bit of a mess, to be honest. I went to see Ready or Not as well. That's really the film I went to see. Not expecting much from Gemini Man, and I came out really enjoying this. Liked Ready or Not as well, but I wanted to talk about this one. So it stars Will Smith as a assassin, government run assassin who quits, and basically when he does, a bunch of people come after him, and one of them just happens to be a clone of himself. You'll have seen all this in the trailer if you've seen the trailer. Now, I personally thought it was very well handled. I liked the characters. There's a lot of relationships between different characters that I liked. I had a lot of warmth for. I thought Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Will Smith had some really great chemistry with each other. Whenever they were on screen together, I really enjoyed the film. I mean, Winstead's a great actress anyway. She doesn't quite get the role she deserves for the most part, but no, she's good. The one she does get, she manages to do something with, this being no different. Benedict Wong is a bit of a side character in this, but he brings a lot as well to the very little that he has. And yeah, he makes for a very good kind of sidekick. Yeah, Will Smith obviously taking a lot on his shoulders, having to play both his current older self as well as his younger self, which has been enhanced obviously by CGI. For the most part, the CGI is really good. There was one scene, it's the final scene, to be honest. The final scene, it feels like one of those scenes actually that they've maybe done a test audience and realised they needed to tack a little bit more on the end or whatever, and they've just kind of whipped it up in a short space of time, because the effects work on Smith's face, on the younger self, in that one scene is dodgy as hell. It doesn't look good, which is bizarre because the rest of the film it does. It looks considerably good. You can still tell it's CGI. There's always that, there's always that thing with completely CGI faces where they try and make someone look younger, where you can see something going on with a mouth that isn't quite right, isn't quite human. But it's still one of the best uses of the technology that I've seen. When you de-age people, this is one of the better jobs of it that I've seen. Also, the action sequences, very good, really good action. I think if you like action movies, there's a lot of stuff here that will get you on the edge of your seat. I think there are places when you can tell, yes, they're using CGI there. There's not much of a way around that, to be honest. But as is typical with Ang Lee, when he does stuff, he likes to do it pretty well, I think, personally. And I think for the most part, the effects here work. It is good seeing Smith and Smith going up against each other. And yeah, I think, if anything, there's a theme here about, again, it's that age-old thing of nature versus nurture. But I would say that it's that element that isn't handled particularly well, because What I think the film is saying, which again is kind of different to what most of films that tackle this subject say, is that we are a product of our nature, not necessarily nurture. Because it seems like whichever way you cut it, Will Smith still grows up to have these skills, still grows up to be this kind of guy. But with that being said, he's also brought up to be that guy by someone who has trained him for that specific purpose. So you never really get to the bottom of whether it is nature or nurture. And I think because of that element, it feels like it's not discussed particularly well. You know, it doesn't give us that grounding. Like if Clive Owen's character really was a good father, really was kind of trying to bring up this guy, you know, the best he could, and yet he still turned out like the older Will Smith, then that'd give us that, you know, yeah, kind of nature has won out here. It doesn't matter that he was brought up differently, nature has won out. So because they don't do that, because that's essentially what this guy was created to be, was the same as his former self, it's really hard to have a discussion on nature versus nurture that way. And I think because of that, the theme that the film could have really been built towards discussing kind of gets lost in the mire somewhere. But as I say, because I really like those relationships, I really like the chemistry between Winstead and Smith, and I think the effects are good, and the action sequences are quite explosive, quite energetic, really well handled. And I think Clive Owen makes a pretty decent bad guy. Clive Owen's one of them weird ones, because when I watch him, I feel like he's not a great actor, and yet on the same side of the coin, I feel he is. There's something about Clive Owen that I enjoy watching. Something about him as a person. It is a bizarre one, is Owen. Yeah, but I like him here. I think he makes a suitably good villain. And yeah, like I say, there's one sequence with when Winstead's character and Smith, they're holding up in this building, and someone pulls up with this proper cannon, and I was just like, what the man alive? Because like obviously guns like that exist in real life, but the way it was shot by Ang Lee, much as is the case with a lot of the action in this, it was just really like, wow, blimey, that gun is really doing some damage. It's surprising that they were able to dodge it, to be honest. But anyway, it looked good. It looked tense. It looked spectacular. So if for nothing else, you know, if you've not seen this film because the reviews put you off, it's not had much of a good shout, give it a go. You know, if you like sci-fi, if you like action movies, I think there's something here for you. It's an entertaining ride. It's probably not, well, it's definitely not Ang Lee's best work, but it's far, far, far from the disgrace that a lot of people are making it out to be. Good film. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I just think the themes that the film felt like it was maybe wanted to grapple with could have been dealt with a bit better, could have grappled with them a bit better. But if you just want to go out for a Friday night fun fest, enjoy a lot of really good action, really nice characters, great chemistry, then this is definitely well worth checking out. 4 out of 5 from me. But what about you? If you have seen it, please do comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And until next time, crack in.